Six Moon Designs, the Lunar Solo. I'm gonna talk about it. Gear, yay. What's in my pack today?
Still focused on my face.
Honey buns. Alright. So, the Lunar Solo Six Moon Designs is a non-freestanding sil nylon tent that is kind of in the category of ultralight tents. It uses a single trekking pole and it uses six stakes to, at a minimum, to guide out, and up to 8 if you use the sidewall guide out points. This tent is extremely it's easy to set up if you know how to set it up. Here I set this tent up without really any trouble. I've probably slept in this thing maybe 10 to 15 times now. Had some storms that came through. I've had it wet and everything. The company, Six Moon Designs, they ended up seam taping the thing, and I have had no issues with it. As far as setup goes, it's pretty easy. All you do is you take your main 4 stakes for the corner guy outs, you lay out the tent just as is, and you want that webbing that goes out to the stakes to be fully extended. It's about a foot long, and you want to put your stakes in kind of out at the maximum range of those that webbing at a 45-degree angle or so. After that, you're going to put your trekking pole in and kind of show here where it is a little like neoprene or like a rubber material, polyester. It's not a nylon material, as far as I know. It's more durable than that, and you stick the pointy end of your trekking pole up into that sleeve. The trekking pole they recommend is 49 inches, and it is, I can never remember that on my trekking poles. These are the Black Diamond Ergo Cork trekking poles. I can never remember what 49 inches is in centimeters because I'm not that kind of person. So what do? I ended up just taking my trekking pole at the walking height that I usually normally use them at, and I placed the stakes into the webbing and put the trekking pole. This is what is going to make your bathtub height per se. So the ideal way to do this is to raise it up when everything is loose. Don't tighten everything down beforehand, otherwise you're going to end up with no bathtub and it's going to be a poor pitch. So these trekking poles are pretty easy. Raise them up. My battery. And I'm back. It was a warm October day and the air conditioning never shut off. Anyway, so I just turned it off, and I'm just gonna sweat here. That's fine. Okay, hold on. My framing is. Is that better? I feel like it's not. I feel like it is. Anyway, talking about trekking poles. Raising up trekking pole to get the top of the tent up higher before you tighten all the corners down. Yep, that's pretty much it. Then you're gonna want to get the front of the vestibule area. You're gonna want to stake that down, and then after that, you're gonna want to get the rear. In that order, I think. Yeah, we'll just go with that. Works pretty well for me. Should work pretty well for you. Let's see. What else we got? Let's see. As far as materials go, The sil nylon that is on the body of the tent is a 20D material, kind of a medium weight, medium lightweight, I guess, sil nylon thickness. And the bathtub is going to be a 40D, an improvement in durability, but you sacrifice a little bit of weight there, but it really isn't a factor so much because the entire tent, my model seam taped and everything seam taping is going to add just a hair bit of weight, maybe 3/4 of an ounce to an ounce, something like that. I had them do it, and my tent comes in at, as you see, the a pound 10 ounces is 26 ounces. If you didn't want to convert, my scale doesn't show directly in ounces. And then my steaks, which is the MSR groundhog steaks, they are a 3-splined steak, and they are maybe not the best steak for this application, to be honest. They're a little finicky to get in the ground, and this tent requires a good staking. So it needs to pull on those stakes pretty hard. If you don't have it securely in the ground, it's not going to hold. Simple as that. The parts where it tugs on the stake the most, you could probably go with a stake, maybe a more hefty stake, and then the front and back is less so. You might be able to get away with a thinner stake, a titanium something or other stake. Anyway, those stakes add about 3 ounces to it. It's going to come in the ballpark of 29.5 ounces for the entire setup. I leave my steaks in a Ziploc bag because I don't like putting them in with my tent. They get the tent dirty, and I don't like putting them in with anything else that is just gonna get dirt everywhere, because those splines tend to hold on to dirt, and they let go of it when it dries out, which is who knows when. So great. As far as breakdown of the tent goes, it's super easy. I like to keep my system for my tent and my sleeping pad and my whole breakdown and setup. I like to keep it as efficient as possible, and decreasing that breakdown time and that setup time. I have completely broken my camp set down from sleeping pad, tent, and everything in about 17 minutes, and I was moving pretty, not lethargically, but it was not fast. I could definitely break it down a lot faster. If you're talking 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes for an entire camp breakdown, not too shabby. Let's see. Breaking down, you're going to want to take that webbing out to its full length for when you set up the tent again. It is going to help you out a lot. If you don't do this, you're going to be fighting it, and it is just a lot easier to undo that little clip and get it to the full length when it's under tension already. Once you have everything loose, you can take that trekking pole out. You can take the stakes out and stuff it right into the bag. It is that easy. There is nothing really to it. Overall, this tent is it's one of my favorites. It runs about, it was about $200 when I got it, but online right now they're running for about $230, and there's a $30 seam sealing job done on it. So if you want to do that, it'd be about $260 for a really nice one and some gear man tent. Yeah, not too bad. Held up in the rain. It's pretty good for one person. Oh, as far as packing down in the tent or in my backpack, I stuff it in the original stuff sack. This stuff sack is by and large too big for this tent. You could stuff it in something half that size to about yay big, and it wouldn't even change anything. You'd be fine. But I like to stuff it in the original stuff sack, so in my backpack I can put it side by side with my sleeping pad, which is about the same width when I roll it up, and it just stuffs right down in there. Easy day. Yeah, stitching's all good. Trying to think of anything else. Anything else that you might want to know? I'm at a loss. I am no longer finding the words to come up with that would... Oh, one more thing. How this tent attaches the vestibule to the guy line in the front is kind of hokey. I never really figured it out. They have this clip that comes with it in the packaging. I think I lost the clip. I ended up just tying it around and forming a little loose slip knot, and it'll just slide up and down the guy line. That's about my thing. For guying it out on the sides, though, the vestibule or the sides of the tent have these points on them that you can pull away from the interior. It opens it up a lot on the inside, but does require some extra setup. So you could do that if you wanted to. Probably the best way to do that is to find a stick or something, wrap it horizontally. So you have the guy point here, and you have your stick here, and to take a guy line, wrap it around the stick, and then stake it out to the side, and it'll pull that interior out a little bit, because the headroom in it, as I show, is not a lot per se, but I am about 6'2", and it seems that the headroom is sufficient for me. But someone that is a little more claustrophobic or something, they might not enjoy that as much. It is some workaround. There's some sacrifice to be made with an ultralight tent, but I like it. It's good. I guess it won Editor's Choice 2019 for Backpackers Magazine. Yeah, that means it's the best. You can't get much better than that. No, you cannot. Nope. Alright, just stop it right here. That's fine. There's nothing else to say about this tent. It's a friggin' non-freestanding tent. Sil nylon, when it gets wet, it'll stretch out, so you gotta tighten that up if it gets too wet, and you don't want wet sil nylon in your face. That's something. All right, deuce.